Hey, in previous videos we have understood what voxels are, we learned how to configure what was needed, and how to create and destroy worlds. So we're now ready to learn how the UI is organized. So first of all, you'll notice a few question marks all around. Those are some helping tooltips that will explain all you need to know for each specific part. For example, this one gives you all the controls for the manual tools, left click, right click, Control Z, etc. So do not forget to check them out, they can be really useful. Next, before starting with the voxels, we have a few general properties for our world, and they are located here on the left and represent the most general properties of the world. So we have, for example, here the list of available presets, here the tools to apply and destroy the world, here the tools to enable or disable the manual modifications. Here some general things like the size of the brush and the location and rotation of the terrain in space. And here we have the name of the terrain, so it can be saved by clicking the button here, and when saved it will appear in the list on the right, from where it can be reloaded or deleted. Okay? The saves are located in the usual YAG working directory, my document, my games, YAG client, and voxels here. Okay, and they are made of two files. A file suffixed parameters, which contains the parameters used for the procedural part in text format, okay, a CSV. So all those parameters here, right? And this is exactly, by the way, the same as for the dungeons, okay, so it works the same. And a second file, which is new here, which is suffixed with data, okay, which contains the manual modifications in a binary format and can be much bigger than the parameter file. So if you want to share your terrain, do not forget to take and share the two files, right? Okay. So we can now start looking at the organization of the UI for the terrain itself. So what is a voxel world from the visual standpoint? Well, it's composed of three major parts: its shape, its color, and its foliage. And each of them can be modified procedurally or manually. So let me show you this very quickly so you get a visual sense of what it means before we explain. So I'm going to choose a noise here, give a bit of height to this noise, and apply. And you can see that we get a terrain. So we could modify some other parameters to get a different shape, but you get the point for the shape. Now let's have a look at the colors here. You can see that we can choose different colors. If I choose a different one and apply it, then I get something very different. All right. So let's come back to the original one, and let's have a look now at the foliage. It's the same principle. For the moment we have no foliage, but we can choose, for example, palm forest. You can see it happening here, or maybe a spruce forest in summer. Let's apply. Okay, you can see that it gives a very different mood to the scene. Okay, we could modify all those parameters, but this is not the point of this video. I'm just showing you very quickly how things can be affected by those main properties. We can go for a pine forest, for example, and from this pine forest we are going to change again the colors, just to show you how different it can be, how different it may feel with the different colors and even the same foliage. Okay, so let's come back to the default right here, and you can see that those three parts how they affect each other, and you can see that they are completely independent one from another. Okay, so now that you know what I'm talking about, let's quickly review the UI itself. So it's organized following those principles. So we have here the panel for the procedural shape. This is the one displayed by default. Okay, here the panel for colors, and here the panel for the foliage. Okay, and here we've got the set of various panels for all the manual tools. There is one panel for each manual tool, okay, like sculpting, painting, flattening, trimming, leveling, smoothing, and so on. All right, so each main panel will have its own dedicated tutorial, but I'm going to give you an overview of how panels are organized. The three main ones are pretty much the same. We choose a main property, so a noise for the shape, a material for the colors, and a type of foliage for the foliage, and then we can tune the parameters of this property. So for the noise, we've got all the parameters, all the noise parameters. For the material, we've got the proportion of each color, and for the foliage, we've got the density of each type of plant. Okay, the manual tool panels just contain the parameters relevant for the tool. They can be sometimes very complex, like the one for sculpting and painting here, or sometimes very simple, like the smoothing tool here, which has only one parameter. Okay, so I guess this is it for this video. We now have a fair idea of how things are organized. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully see you in the next. Bye.